When making music, there's nothing more important than how it makes you feel. And so today I'm going to show you a few tips to help you get out those feelings you can't describe. Here's the sample I'm going to be breaking down. If you don't make this style of music though, don't worry. These tips I'm about to show you will work for any genre and have a similar effect. First, let's talk sounds. The sounds you use can greatly enhance feelings that you're trying to evoke. For example, low-pitched sounds are typically a bit sadder and darker. And then if we play that same chord with a brighter sound, it sounds a bit happier or maybe a bit more uplifting. Now if we take it a step further and look at chords, if we look at a major chord, the major chord sounds happier, but it goes a lot deeper than that. Alright, so this next thing I'm going to talk about is a bit controversial. Each key in music has kind of a vibe or a mood associated with it. Listen to this chord progression. It's in C major, which is supposed to be a happier scale. Now listen to this in D minor, which is supposed to be more of a serious scale. However, what people say, I kind of agree with them as well. It's more about where you place your chords and kind of what you play within each scale. Now, believe it or not, throughout the sample, I use the simplest chord progression. It's literally only 2 chords. Now, the reason I wanted to bring that up is because how you actually place your chords, and kind of the rhythm that you decide on, completely changes the vibe it's going to give off. For example, let's take the original chord progression. Now, if we don't space out the chords in the same way we did before, we just have a chord hit every bar. It sounds way less dramatic. Now, if we take the same chord progression from before and add some chops, now it sounds a lot more upbeat. Now I want to show you an incredible tool that you can use to add tons of impact with your melodies that's very simple. So just pay attention to where I'm placing the notes in relation to the chords here, and then just the overall pattern of the notes. If you notice, the melody starts when the first chord stops playing, and by it playing in that place where nothing else is playing, it gives it significantly more impact. Now if you take a look at the notes, the second half of the melody adds some additional notes in order to kind of resolve the sequence and also provide contrast from the beginning. Now the next thing I want to talk about is arguably more important than chords, melodies, etc. And that is drums. And one of the reasons for this is because you can literally change the genre of the music just by picking out different drum patterns. You can go from feeling deep to feeling deep, but at the club, real quick. one kind of rule you can follow is slower the drums, more dramatic. Faster the drums, typically more upbeat. Your imperfections are what make you special when you're making a beat or a song. Because a lot of people nowadays, including myself, make music on computers, it's very easy to make your music sound robotic and overly perfect. When everything sounds too perfect, it sounds lifeless and a lot colder. So first, let's take this guitar I used. When you play guitar, it's impossible to strum all the strings at once. And so let's say if you're using a guitar VST, it's going to sound very unnatural and almost like a different instrument if you have everything playing at the same time. So for example, in addition to that, the velocities aren't going to all be the same as you're not hitting every string with the same force. I don't know if you guys just saw that, but I almost just died. The tree just fell down behind me, so yeah, leave a thumbs up. This is the same idea for all of your instruments. Vary the length of the notes, as when you play a piano, you're not hitting every note at the exact same time for the same amount of time. And so just adding those little things will make things sound and feel a lot realer. So if you listen closely, you can probably hear a bird. Adding things from our life and things that surround us are one of the best ways to add feeling and emotion to your music, and also one of the easiest things you can do. For example, if you listen to the beat I've been showing you, you'll hear the ocean. The reason I picked the ocean was because I knew it would be a... God damn, these birds are loud. Now, in my opinion, this is the best way to add feeling and emotion, and that is adding your vocals. And before you click off because maybe you can't sing or you don't have a microphone, don't worry, because anyone could do this. So first, the great thing about adding your own vocals, it's a lot easier to be creative, as you're not restricted to a sample or some sort of VST. You kind of put in whatever's in your head into the song. Now, if you wanted to make it sound good, there's a few things I would recommend, and this goes for people that can't sing as well. One is layering. When you're layering your vocals, you don't want every take to sound the same. In this case, I just did a couple high vocal takes. And then just my regular voice. And together, they sound like this. Now, if you can't sing or maybe you're just not very comfortable with your vocals, all you really need to do is add some sort of tuner to tune your voice, reverb to the vocal, turn it down so it really sits in the background, and you can also add some sort of filter to it to even push it further into the background. But regardless, it's going to add a really strong feeling and emotion that you just can't get with anything else. Now, if there's one video I would recommend you watching next, it's this one.